Welcome to the Parable of the Pipes video demonstration series. The Parable of the Pipes video series provides valuable lessons about successful venturing. What does it take to start, operate, and grow a successful venture? What does it take to lead one? What does it take to contribute to its success? Successful venturing may seem to you to be very complex. It's really not. The essentials are simple. It is the ignorance of the essentials that make things hard to understand. Lack of knowledge undermines progress. Inside the venture, it creates variability in work results that lead to waste. It increases risk due to unnecessary excesses. Outside the venture, unevenness in product quality or service delivery undermines the venture's reputation. The Parable of the Pipes demonstrations present and underscore the essentials of successful venturing. The audio and video content of the Parable of the Pipes demonstrations are deep talk, like Maya Angelou's poems. On the face of it, the demonstrations are simple. You'll appreciate the storyline. However, each demonstration has themes underlying the story which suggest what founders should consider to build successful ventures. When you dive deeper into the stories and explore their meaning for your situation, that is when you'll find what is necessary to make your ventures successful. Welcome to the 9th demonstration in the Parable of the Pipes series. At the conclusion of the Parable of the Pipes 8, Conducting the Orchestra, we asked what an orchestra conductor must do to become famous. The conductor's role, depicted in the Conducting the Orchestra video, is an analogy for an important part of a venture founder's role, doing things right. The conductor was a manager who orchestrated multiple pipes. Famous venture founders manage pipes well, and they do much more than manage. They lead. Venture founders become famous by building pipes that consistently do things right and do the right things. Let's focus on one pipe. Symbolically, the wall of this pipe represents the venture's infrastructure. Infrastructure is an alloy, a unique mix of elements that gives lasting strength to the venture, provides resistance to entropy, and serves as a springboard for growth. Some elements in the alloy are primarily concrete, physical assets, such as factory buildings, assembly equipment, parts awaiting assembly into a final product, or consumables, like lubricants used to keep machines running smoothly. Other elements are primarily mindsets, collections of shared attitudes and beliefs that allow common ground for cooperation amongst diverse stakeholders. Examples are interfaith guiding principles, a journeyman's dedication to craftsmanship, and a shared quest for continuous improvement by employee teams. When times get tough, mindsets make or break the venture. Positive mindsets buoy up the purpose of the venture, making it resistant to corrosion. Negative mindsets shatter the venture's chances for survival. What is the right mix of infrastructure elements to give lasting strength to your venture? What are the concrete physical assets you will need? What are the mindsets that you will need to foster? Please pause the video when you see these questions on the screen. Write down your thoughts about the recipe that will work for you. When you are finished, please resume the video demonstration. Okay, let's continue. This is a model of a venture's major infrastructure elements. The ring represents the pipe. The segments inside the pipe's wall represent essential elements of infrastructure. Each element has both physical and mindset components. Let's begin with the top element. Guiding principles codify many of the mindsets that buoy up the venture and its reason for being, proclaiming how the venture will treat its stakeholders. It is hard to measure the immense pivotal value of your venture's guiding principles in dollars and cents. That is why accountants call them intangible assets. However, it is definitely true that actions in accordance with guiding principles speak louder than words and add value to your venture. Durable assets include the elements most of us think about first when we think of infrastructure. They are the bricks and mortar of the venture. Accountants describe them as durable or fixed assets and include them on the venture's balance sheet. For example, stores and factories. Goodwill includes proprietary or intellectual property, brand recognition, and trust, which are not easily quantifiable. Goodwill assets are intangible assets. They are also long-term assets similar to durable assets, lasting multiple years. People, both inside and outside the venture, provide hard work and smart work to the venture. People are adaptable assets. They have the potential to learn and become increasingly useful to the venture as the years pass. However, their jobs and the training provided to improve their worth are entered as expenses in the venture's financial records. Financial records are not designed to sort out the true value of people who go the extra mile to achieve venture goals. It is important to keep records of such accomplishments and celebrate outstanding results. Teams are groups of people brought together to follow guiding principles and employ physical assets to yield venture objectives. Effective teamwork is essential to exceptional venture success. Teams often extend beyond the physical boundaries of the venture. Teamwork is a challenging art form requiring considerable effort for people to learn and constant nurturing by the venture's leaders. Even so, the effort is worth it. Established and well-functioning teams are of inestimable value to ventures. Despite that, the costs and benefits of teams are hard to discern on a venture's financial statements. Work structures are collections of physical decision aids, rules of thumb, formal procedures, and incentives, all designed to smooth the flow of operations by maintaining stability in the pace and quality of workflow. They represent the steady heartbeat of the venture, the rules of the game, and the playbook for winning. Work structures model good practices and reward those who go by the book. Improvement mechanisms are collections of information and techniques utilized to keep the venture on course when environmental circumstances change. They alert leaders at all levels about needed changes in efficiency and effectiveness, and suggest how to cope with problems of adjustment. Pathfinders are scouts and innovators. They look outside the venture's existing competitive landscape for game changers, major changes on the horizon. Are there major changes that will challenge the venture's survival if it does not adapt? Are there new opportunities to establish beachheads on the shores of emerging markets? Many ventures deploy scouts, spending large sums to scout trends and emerging technologies. However, most underspend when it comes to using scouting results to innovate. Underspending leads to two problems. First, scouts focus on scouting goals set by top management and presenting timely highlights to their bosses. They delay or avoid preparation of time-consuming scouting reports for innovators within the venture. On top of delayed, spotty reporting by scouts, innovators in charge of existing improvement mechanisms often have a second problem. They are allotted insufficient budgets to experiment with what they do learn from scouts. Avoiding these two problems by fully funding your Pathfinders is a big opportunity to create competitive advantage for your venture. Leaders are the final element of infrastructure. Leaders are the people who bring all the other infrastructure elements together to form an effective technology of cooperation. The technology of cooperation that yields the venture's goals. Leaders are the glue that bonds the infrastructure together. Leaders are also the force multiplier that multiplies the venture's ability to do good things by orchestrating the energy of all the elements of the venture's infrastructure, including stakeholders who seem outside of the physical boundaries of the venture, such as suppliers, contractors, distributors, investors, government officials, and customers. How or where do founders fit into their venture's infrastructure? Please pause the video when you see this question on the screen. Write down your thoughts about where founders fit in. When you are finished, please resume the video demonstration. Okay, let's continue. How or where does the founder fit into the infrastructure? Many founders are inventors or experts in one discipline. They figure they can build a successful venture on their own. The venture is their brainchild. Isn't that enough to entitle them to lead the venture to success? In truth, when the new venture launches, the founder becomes the chief chemist for the pipe. As chief chemist, the founder's job is threefold. First, know the properties of each element of the venture. Second, understand how the elements interact. Third, refine and forge a winning element mix into the walls of the pipe. The walls must become an alloy that gives the venture lasting strength and is resistant to entropy. The startup founder's job is not done when the pipe begins operation. For best results, founders new to building venture infrastructure must recruit a leadership team around themselves to help conduct the orchestra of infrastructure elements. Inevitably, the leadership team will find they must rewrite the score and reassign orchestra seats. Physical assets will need to be realigned, and mindsets will need adjustments to achieve the venture's full potential. In our experience, if the founder does not build a leadership team, here's what will happen. The venture's infrastructure will collapse, and the venture will fail. Now it is time to pause and think about what we have covered in this Building the Pipe video demonstration. So far, we have covered many essentials. When you reach the end of this video, you will see a slide with 5 key questions. Pause the video at that point. Write down the questions. Write down your answers. Remember, the Parable of the Pipes demonstrations are deep talk. When you view each video, you will probably say, on the face of it, one understands that. However, keep asking yourself the question, maybe there's something else, something deeper that will make my ventures more successful. For example, did you observe the interplay of the 9 elements of infrastructure during Building the Pipe demonstration? Do you have to find and fix all obstacles yourself? If you don't see the connection to your venturing, better view the video again. Check out the supporting materials in the Parable of the Pipes book. Talk it over with your venture partners. We now offer you 4 questions. Please pause the video when the question slide appears. Write down your questions and your thoughts about each question.